Hello, peoples.
Hello, hello, hello.
It's time for Fix My List. Let's do some stuff, Jack.
Fix my list.
I'm psyched. I'm ready. I'm pumped.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited for this. I think people submitted some cool lists. Now, most of these are from before the balanced data slate. So we're going to use this as an opportunity to see how your lists change in the new balanced data slate.
I like your style. I like what's happening here, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want your list to be evaluated by me and Brad, to go over it, to make fun of you, to improve it, then you want to submit it in our Discord under Fix My List, please, not in Battlescribe format, please. And then I select 3 of them every week, and we go over them, and we'll try and fix your list.
Indeed. We got some Sallies happening here first. I don't even have Vulcan behind me. That disappoints me. Oh man,
that is sad.
I didn't even realize it. All right,
Salamanders. This list was submitted before the balance update. Salamanders have gotten a lot better.
100%. So let's talk about something. I see some things that Brad wants to change right away. Get my little claws on. So first off, let's talk about what it's actually the list is. We got a captain on bike. He's a chapter master. He's got Forge Master, Rights of War, Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Armor, and Dominus. He's got a Primaris Librarian, Mighty Heroes, Null Zone, Drakeskin, Psychic Fortress, Chief Librarian, Tome of Elkona. He's got a Primaris Lieutenant, Mastercraft Power Sword, Storm Shield, Neo Volkite Pistol, Vulcan's Sigil. Troops, 5 Heavy Intercessors, 5 Incursors, 5 Infiltrators with a Helix Gauntlet. The Elites are 5 Blade Guard Veteran, 5 Aggressors, Flamestorm of course, Primary Spothgary with all the fixings, 10 Vanguard Vets, Jump Pack, Lightning Claws on 3, 4 Hammer Shields, 3 Claws. And then we've got 2 units of 3 Eradicators and a Whirlwind. So first off, I still hate the Whirlwind with the passion of 1,000 Suns, even more Whirlwind,
now. Real bad. People think it's... I keep seeing people put it in Blood Angel lists, and it makes me mad every time.
Yeah, it's ookie poo. The big thing is with the update, the Storm Shield doesn't let us ignore that AP -1, so we're going to lose a crap ton of Storm Shields.
Yes, the Storm Shields are coming out wholesale pretty much, and I think what we get is we get a lot of points out of that. I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to just see these Eradicators in one squad. Also, you can just combat squad when you want to, and there's sometimes when you're going to want to just smash. So,
there's no reason to not have them as one squad of 6.
I'd like to see more. I'd like to see 2 Salamander powers on my Levy because I want Drakeskin and I'd like the -1 also. We can do a lot of things. I would like to see... I do like this... I still like the speeders, weirdly enough, in the Salamanders list. The Melta speeder is really nice. The fly keyword's a big deal.
It is nice. It's a little close range. I really like the Thunder Strike, the one that hits on 2s, because the Hammer Strike does not.
They're both good. It's just I like doubling down on the Melta. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'd like to actually see... In this list, I'm not going to lie, because of the updates, I really, really like Aggressors right now. I would probably go a 6 and a 3 because Born Protectors is just so good. Buddy Overwatch is just huge against a lot of these armies that are bringing things that ignore your Overwatch, and especially when you're talking about Harlequins, you're talking about Craftworld, you're talking about Tyranids. Gene Stealer Code, I think, is going to make a big resurgence now that we have Overwatch has been so nerfed. Overwatch. Indirect has been so nerfed.
Yeah, Indirect for sure was punishing GSC.
Yeah.
And so they got a lot better.
Yeah, so a lot of these things can make it so you can't Overwatch, and you can get around that with Born Protectors, and I just love that. Yeah. So
I'm going to defer to Brad on a lot of the Salamanders stuff. I probably wouldn't go more than 1 squad of Aggressors, 6-man, but largely because they're not good into other Marines. With the reduction of AP by 1, if they're standing in cover, even regular dudes are going to get a 2-up. So that is something I worry about, but Brad really likes them. Then I really like them. It's that simple.
I just still like the volume. Against other Marines, they're not as good. 100%. You are just trying to put the volume on them at that point in time. but against most everything else, they're still doing very, very well.
Yeah.
So I could see just taking 6. I'm a stickler for aggressors. I also have a lot of them that are pretty, so I like to put them on the board.
Yeah, for sure. We do get a fair amount of points back in this list because we're going to remove basically every shield in the list. I feel like the Blade Guard come out because they're not bad, but they didn't get any better and other units did, so the discussion really doesn't feel that compelling for me. I think you're going to cut Blade Guard out of the list in favor of other stuff, and aggressors are certainly good. In new meta where AP matters a lot more, like high AP matters more, I do think aggressors with their power fists that are natively AP3 and Assault Doctrine are AP4, they are better than Blade Guard for sure, and they shoot a decent amount.
Yeah.
I think we get points back on the Storm Shields on the Captain, on the Primaris Lieutenant, on all of the Vanguard veterans with a shield. I think just replace it with a Chainsword.
I kind of want the Lieutenant to be a chaplain on bike, Primaris chaplain on bike.
Yes, I would really like that as well, honestly.
And we could make one I'd like to see somebody with T7 with the Salamander Mantle on them for the T7 -1 to wound. So that would be on either the Captain or the Primaris chaplain. You can work them out either way. One of them is going to be a beat stick. You know what I mean? You can make that dude hardcore and he can crush. So I don't care which one you want to make, the hammer basically, and one's the anvil effectively. There you go, doing Salamander Forge tactics there.
Could you split them up, make them both fairly durable?
Yeah, I mean it's nice to put Forge Master for that +2 toughness and then put the -1 to wound on one of them on the bike. And I do prefer it on the chaplain typically, just because he's got 7 wounds. It's just a big deal to get through that.
I think where we're at. So Vanguard veterans now are kind of insane at 250 points for 10 of them with Lightning Claws and Chainswords. They're pretty much as durable as they were before, slightly less, but pretty close. And they went down 5 points per model. And they get an extra Chainsword attack. So that feels ridiculous to me. I really love 250 point 10-man Vanguard veteran units. So what I would love to do here is cut the Whirlwind, cut about 80 points out of the Vanguard veterans there. So just cut them down to a 250 point Lightning Claw Chainsword. Cut the Whirlwind, maybe cut those Infiltrators back a little bit, the Helix Gauntlet, whatnot. Cut Blade Guard vets for aggressors, and then try and jam another 10-man unit of Vanguard vets in that list.
If you want to go big beatings, we could always put the Achilles in here.
The Achilles is really nice. The Land Raider Achilles from Forge World.
It's expensive, but when you make it T9 with no rerolls to wound, it's significant.
It's real hard to kill. It's real hard to kill at toughness 9. And it has smoke launcher, so you can just pop that. You already have Drakeskin in the list. You pop that, -1 to hit. You are toughness 9, no rerolls to wound. You do need a Tech Marine for it, I think, because you still need to repair. It still needs to hit on 2s.
If we're going to do that, I would do a Tech Marine. Otherwise, otherwise I just want that chaplain in here.
Yeah, so. I really like a chaplain. Also, you're vulnerable to mortal wounds here, and chaplain can take the chant of 5 up against mortal wounds.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably where we want to be.
I would like to see the Aquila somewhere on this also.
Which one is that?
It's this Feel No Pain. 6 up Feel No Pain. It's just nice to have on.
Oh, yeah. It is really nice to have that in multiple parts of the board.
Right. Because you can extend out a little bit, and you can actually, you can have it in multiple places. So you have your Apothecary doing his thing kind of in your base where you're pushing up in, and then you can have that Aquila zooming up on one of the guys. And he's got 2 characters on bikes, so that you can actually extend out fairly well.
Matt O makes a good point. The Laser Vindicator is actually really good.
Yeah.
Especially in Salamanders where you get a wound reroll. It hits like a Mack truck. It's damage 6 even if you move. You just can take some mortals on if you roll 1s to hit. It's toughness 8 with a 2. I don't believe it has access to a 2-up armor save, Matt O. I don't think you can get a siege shield on it. I'm pretty sure you can't. But it's still some real high quality shooting across the board at toughness 8 with no rerolls to wound.
High quality H2O.
Yeah.
But
So
I like this. I like this list a lot, even without going a big tank. I do like what we're going with. More guys. The thing is right now with Salamanders, no rerolls to wound. The Marines getting that, basically taking 1 AP off everything makes them significantly more durable. Salamanders are already durable, and you need to really take the board as a Marine player, especially with this type of list. You want to be taking the board, staying behind cover, taking it away from your opponent, making him come up and get all up in your face, and then boom, you're putting meltas, you're putting flamers, you're putting power fists right up his bum, and that's how you win it, baby.
that's that's why you come here, to hear from the best. That's how you win it. I do want to cut, so in summary, in this list, I think we want to cut the Whirlwind. I think, Brad, we're both on board with that.
I hate the Whirlwind with a passion.
Yeah. Whirlwind out. Cut a bunch of shields off the Vanguard veterans, cut Blade Guard down to aggressors, and cut shields off the characters, and try and just jam as many Vanguard veterans as will fit. If we need to cut the heavy intercessors down to regular intercessors to make that fit, I would rather do that than have them.
I don't hate them. I don't hate having just more Vanguards. I don't hate heavy intercessors, but I feel that heavy intercessors with the Hellstorm Bolters and everything on them, you end up exposing yourself more than you should, because you want your backfield objective takers to be hidden. If they're taking shots, it's because something's back there usually that you have to take shots on. I don't want them extending out and get it. If you can be seen, you can get killed. I want my objective takers to be hidden, just completely not seeing anybody.
Yeah. So also what you can do with the Blade Guard vets is you can cut them down to 5 Assault Terminators with double Lightning Claw. And that is 10 points cheaper. It's 165, and it is value for money.
Yeah. There's options, man. For Marines got a new lease on life here. They're not going to instantly be S tier, but their playability just went through the roof from where they were. So 100% they got a raft thrown at them.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's take a look at the next list.
We got a little bit of pointy ears.
A little pointy ears action. I saw we didn't have any last week, so this week we got the pointy ears.
So this is what's my my craft world.
So the craft world, it should be up there, but it is.
Oh, it's Hail Concealment.
Yeah,
I apologize.
Doom, and Master of Concealment.
So we got Farseer Skyrunner, Doom Will, he's got Seer of Shifting Vectors and the Sunstorm Bike, so he's OPSEC. Mogon, Effin Ra, 2 units of fire, 5 Rangers with a Wire Weave Net, 5 Dire Avengers with the extra catapult, 5 card with the extra catapult. He's got Stand Firm. I don't like that XR power, but that's okay.
Nick loves it.
I know. I can't stand it. But
largely because he forgets what unit it's on every time, so it's whatever unit he needs it to be.
Yeah, I was just about to say well, we won't go to that.
It's not intentional. He just forgets and then thinks it's a different one.
2 units of 3 Shining Spears, 2 Falcons. They took cannons on them. We've got an Autarch Skyrunner with the Fire Saber. 2
the Falcon with 1 Shuriken cannon should be 140, but whatever.
Yeah, if it's just got the one, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 140, 150. We got an Autarch with Fire Saber, 2 Warlock Skyrunners, 1 Protect, 1 Quicken, 3 Vipers with Bright Lances, 3 units of Wind Riders, 6, 6, and 5, all with just catapults, and a Hemlock Wraith Fighter. All right.
So again, this one was submitted before the change, before the new update. It doesn't have any indirect in it, which I think is the place you are going forward as Eldar. You don't have any indirect, I think. You can consider 1 unit because you need something to hold, like to just zone out your backfield, but I really wouldn't. I'd probably just take like Rangers and do it there. I played into a lot of Shuriken cannons yesterday with Salamanders, and they did nothing.
I don't. My thing is I would rather just have the no AP and volume and distance where I can hide than I would just catapulting it up. The thing is that I'm not a huge fan of Bipe spam, even with hail and everything. You just don't get the bang for your buck, and also you have to get close, and you can only doom in and jinx one target. So you're going to want to do that. My other thing with this is
he doesn't have jinx. Oh, he does have jinx.
He has a jinx.
Jinx, no guide.
Yeah. I'd like to see another Farseer in here for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I see the Autarch's nice, but like he just doesn't carry his weight like a Farseer does. Farseer is just good all the time. The Autarch's okay.
I don't hate an Autarch if you have a lot of shots.
I don't hate it.
Rerolling.
But you've got the ability to do a lot of things with these. I mean, he was doing a catapult, so he's already rerolling the ones if the opponent's near an objective. So there's a lot to be said with that. If I'm going to bring Shining Spears, I would like to see the Exarch power. And I want to see the Saber on him so that you've got 6 attacks, re-rolling everything, hits and wounds, and doing
that is pretty good.
Mortals on 5s.
Something people may not know is that the Exarch can get a Shuriken Cannon for free.
Free, yes.
So you want to do that.
The other thing is that I kind of only want ever one unit of Shining Spears now because their bases are now gigantic. So it's very difficult to have the maneuver with them now.
So here's an interesting change. First off, if you're going Hail of Doom, I think you want 30 Dire Avengers. They're just efficient. They're AP2, AP4, which gets around Marines fairly well. So I think if you're doing that, the easiest change would be cut the hem. So you're trying to do leadership shenanigans with the Hemlock and Mog and Raw. And
it's too much. It's just not going to happen. That's the problem. With a good player,
it is fun.
It's super fun, but it's just not going to work all the time. There's a lot of armies that ignore it, and or they're just going to spend the 2 in that turn that you get everything to go.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So what I would do here is I would cut the Hemlock, cut a Wind Rider squad out of each of the 6-mans, and you can go up to 30 Dire Avengers.
I would like to see a lot of Dire Avengers. I'd like to see something that punches somebody, though, also. Because right now, there's absolutely 0 counterpunch. So somebody just...
The Shining Spears hit.
Shining Spears hit, but they don't hit with volume. You know what I mean? They don't hit like a Banshee unit does, for instance, or even one of the characters. You know what I mean? It's just...
They sure don't.
I'm worried that there's just not enough attacks if somebody just goes, hey, I'm going... If the Salamanders we just talked about, or just, Space Wolves or your Blood Angels, just go first and just move to the mid-board and just go, okay, we'll figure it out this turn, coming up. Because you're just not going to kill that whole army right then. And we need something to be able to kill somebody off. And also, we don't have enough Psychics on this because we only have 1 Farseer. So I'd like to see just the option of more damage, because a Farseer that shows up with Executioner and the ability to smite can get some of those people the hell off you. You know what I mean? If things go bad, basically.
If you have more Dire Avengers, which I really think you want, if you have more of those, Guide turns them into a monster with Hail of Doom. You go Guide, Doom, and they'll pick up basically anything in the game. That feels really nice. What we can do with the Shining Spears...
They're also doing... You got to remember that Dire Avengers actually still are doing actions and shooting for free. They don't have to do anything with it, so...
Yeah, that feels really nice. What we can do is we can take, honestly, like 3 5-man units of Shining Spears. That's enough counterpunch, and it's a lot of shuriken shots still.
I don't hate that. I would... The only problem is those bases are gigantic now, bro.
5-man squads are going to take up a lot of room.
It's going to be really hard to hide stuff. I mean, I do like the fact that we can slam some stuff in the Falcons and come down to turn 1 if we want to, anywhere we want, and just bounce out and shoot. So that's a big deal on that. So I would like to see more of Dire Avengers, 100%. I'd like to see another caster, though. That Farseer helps. The other Farseer helps so much, not only in the fact that you're going to be able to get Faithful, you're going to get a CP back with Faithful, and then you can have the option of doing more damage on it, too, because then you can put Executioner on there, and when people get into your backfield, you have that extra mortal damage to come out.
Yeah, I also really want to cut a Ranger squad because it feels like you're running low on stuff. So,
sorry.
You saw the donation?
Sorry. Lyle with the super chat. This is a donation for Brad to buy a blanket because he looks far too cool right now. I love everything about that, Lyle. I lost my train of thought completely.
Yeah. So I really want to see a unit of Rangers cut because you just need more stuff in the list. I think 1 Falcon also needs to be cut. Potentially a Viper because you just need more stuff. Morgan Raw probably should become Balroth. Balroth is broken in half.
Yes, but the only thing is that, again, I always go back to the rule of cool. If you've got the new Morgan Raw and you just painted it up, put him on the board. That's fine.
Yeah.
Balroth,
Morgan Raw is diet Balroth. He doesn't teleport everywhere. He doesn't run in, hit, and bounce out, but he does shoot decently, so you can kind of stand him on an objective, and your opponent can't really do anything about it.
He's not in the same category as Balroth, but who is, so.
Nobody. Balroth's the best character in the game.
Yeah. He's just gross. The Hemlock, let's go over the things that are 100%ers. The Hemlock goes because of the fact that it's just going to get picked off. There's too many armies that are doing too much damage to have that one plane just sitting there.
100%.
I need another Farseer.
I mean, to be fair, does it have an invuln?
I don't
believe it does. But the Crimson Hunter does. And that thing with Fate Dice is actually obnoxious to get rid of.
If I'm going to do that, I'm going to go all in and just auto hit at that point in time. But it's still too expensive for what it does. I can just get more stuff. I can get multiple units for that 210.
I agree. This list needs more
stuff. It needs,
and so that Hemlock has got to go.
It needs more things. I would actually like to go to just the one unit of Shining Spears at that point in time, and then somebody else to punch. Without as much, I mean, you could just bring literally a single. Well, this is just a patrol. We don't have any. We don't need to put these warlocks in elites either. We could put them as freeze.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that really makes a difference.
Well, it makes a difference because we'd have an elite slot open, and then I could throw in a unit of Banshees with piercing strikes, 105 points, 110 points.
So no, I think we need to trim down the Wraith Fighter Hemlock. I think we want to cut one Falcon.
I like the two. I mean, we will talk about this off air. The
thing is, in my head, the Dire Avengers are going to 10-mans, and so you only need one Falcon for the Banshees.
True. Well, we could do a Falcon, and we could basically put the Dire Avengers wherever we want. We could do literally a R&D in their zone turn one if we really want to, if they haven't screened it out, so we can get into places we normally couldn't.
I mean, if they haven't screened out a Falcon,
no, I'm saying you can get into the other side. I apologize. Not their zone. The neutral zone, my friend. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not saying your opponent just left a Falcon-sized hole in their deployment zone.
I was like, Brad, geez, is this what happens when you play out in the?
But you can come into the overside and stuff like that. But it gives you options to shoot in. So I don't hate it. But I do think we need just more Dire Avengers. Period.
100%.
At that point in time, the question is, can we get down to? I'd like to tell you the truth. I'd like to see a Vanguard more than I'd like to see an Outrider at that point in time. Because if we lose a Wind Rider, we're only at 5. You know what I mean? We could literally.
I kind of want to lose a Viper too.
That's what I'm saying. We could lose a Viper and a Wind Rider. We could bring a Vanguard and a Patrol, and then we could bring 3 units of Dire Avengers. We could bring the Banshees in. I'd still like to see that second Farseer.
I really want to see a second Farseer for sure. I also think in new meta, which is, again, this was written before new meta, but I think in new meta you need to ignore cover. I think you want Hail of Doom, ignore cover, because Marines standing in cover are just so durable.
Especially if you're trying to get your damage from volume of shots at that point in time, 100%.
Yeah, I think you need it now. I think fine in the past you could like experiment with other craft worlds, but I think Hail of Doom, if you're going custom craft world, I think you need Hail of Doom, ignore cover.
Agreed.
Otherwise, Marines are going to be too tough.
Yeah, agreed on that, because you're not going to pick up enough stuff, and you don't have enough punching power to get them out of places without that.
So just doing kind of a wish list. And so the cut list is probably a unit of Vipers, 1 Viper, a unit of Wind Riders, 1 of the 2 Falcons, probably a unit of Shining Spears, and the Hemlock. The buy list would be something like 20 more Dire Avengers. 20 more Dire Avengers, some kind of punch like Howling Banshees. And then
second Farseer
for sure. And Karandris would look pretty good. Balroth would look pretty good instead of the Autarch, but I could also see leaving the Autarch in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. It's just anytime we're trying to fix my list, we're trying to stay in the general theme of what people gave us. So we're not trying to make it completely different. So, but those are the things that you're going to need, because I'm too afraid of Marine rushing on you with the current set that you have.
Yeah.
You just you don't want like go second, boom, Blood Angels, whatever, you know, wolves, whoever's just right on top of you. You're just not going to do enough damage to kill them.
30 Dire Avengers will inform them. Like,
yeah,
it will hit them. If you need to cut Rangers in order to get all that stuff in, you can cut one unit. It's fine.
True, because we only need one period.
Getting them in is totally fine. I like that you have Quicken, which lets you do the psychic secondaries really well.
It's also a big deal for restraint on that, especially if you get somebody coming at you hot and heavy. So,
honestly, with my experience playing Eldar, I'd much rather cut Protect / Jinx over Quicken, because Quicken just lets you do all kinds of nonsense.
The only thing is that in the new meta, Jinx is going to be a must-have in my thing.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, just because I
think you want both.
Yeah. We do like jet bikes. This is true.
On bike is nice because you want that extra wound because you do not want to perils and die.
Yep. All of the bad things.
So I think that's a good place to leave the Hail of Doom list. And let's move on to the last one that
Coffee.
Jasper was I believe it was Jasper was talking about. I hope they reveal Chaos list. Chaos.
Boom. So we've got Aramon on disc, Glamour, Weaver, Presage, Exalted Sorcerer on disc, Rahati, Scrolls, Arrogance Gaze, Firestorm, Infernal Master with Glimpse, Maelstrom, Redeploy, and then the Crystal, so we can redeploy. So we've got 10 rubrics, all with Warp Flamers, and a pistol on the Aspiring Champion. 5 rubrics, each with 2 units of 5 rubrics, each with a Soul Reaper. The 20 Zangors of the Brayhorn, 2 units of 10 Scarab Occult Terminators with the whole shebang on them. One's got get a guy back, the other has perform actions and still shoot.
I believe this is Cult of Duplicity. So it doesn't get a guy back, but it heals one up to full strength.
Sorry, yeah.
I believe this is Cult of Duplicity, not Cult of Time.
I'm fine with that moving around. So the first things I'd like to do is 20 Zangors are cool for bodies and stuff. I either want 20 Zangors in the min units, or I'd just like to see another 5-man rubrics. The 1,000 Suns got incredibly more durable.
Yes.
With the
especially against damage 1.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They're already ignoring 1 AP. They're getting a +1 save against 1 damage weapons because all is dust. And Indirect got a huge nerf, which was a big deal in taking out 1,000 Suns before they were ever able to see you. So I'd like to see all of that happen. So the other things is I would change the psychics just a bit out. So I'd like to have the Scrolls guy. He's got Firestorm. He's got Firestorm Gaze. I like that.
Yeah, I do. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, that means you can snipe characters, which is a big deal. I actually like this list quite a bit. I wouldn't mind seeing the Flamer unit be 2 Flamer units as opposed to just one big block of 10, because you do have very few threats and you're going to be warp timing 5-man units up to take things from people. And you're going to run out of those really quick because you're basically the entire army revolves around these 2 units of 10 as Scarab Occult Terminators.
Harry Adler is saying that Scrolls are exclusive to Cult of Time. I don't believe is it Athenaean Scrolls.
Yeah, it's the other Scrolls. So the Scrolls,
it's the other Scrolls.
Yeah, it's the Scrolls to make your powers go big. So
yeah, which is a great combination with Firestorm and then Arrogance. Like he's going to go off every turn.
Yeah, and the thing is that he's looking to kill characters at that point in time. You target them, and then you pop your Cabal Ritual for D3 extra mortals when you hit that guy, so you can reliably pick up 6 and 7 wound characters. To be honest, so to be fair, yeah, it's Athenaean Scrolls. Yeah,
but I do kind of like the list. I really wish the 20 Zangors, as you said, were 5 more rubrics, and then you can split up the 10-man rubrics. And then I want to give like every unit an Icon of Flame.
Yeah, I'd also like to see a 2 single spawn here because you have nothing to block out your backboard edges besides real units. And I don't want you just run out of things too fast. You need some trash. Uh-oh, we got Lyle coming back again. Thank you, brother. Did anyone submit a list with 30 Sanguinary Garb, the new Marine rules for Jack to salivate over? It would already be here if they did.
Man, it would have made the cut. What are you talking? You think Salamanders would have made it over Blood Angels if
Yeah,
someone did it? No.
I'm surprised that we don't have just three versions of a new Blood Angels list from Jack.
I'm so big on Blood Angels right now. I'm so excited.
Hey,
I really want
you're
to take
like,
them to Dallas. I think I probably will.
who is this hack Jarpster guy that keeps putting all these Blood Angels lists in?
That's right. Hack Jarpster, Jim Barpster, Huck Gypster. Like, that's 3 lists for the week.
Vinicus, I for sure that he's trying to maximize the Pyric Flux buff. However, I just need more things in this list. The list is very good. Don't get me wrong. For a Thousand Suns list, it's going to beat. The problem is that anytime you have a list that has very few things, your opponent sees that and goes, I don't need to kill everything. I just now need to score points. And if I take a couple of these things away, then we have real troubles taking our secondaries, continuing to score primaries on that, because you're just going to own certain parts of the board, and a smart opponent's just going to go, well, I'm not going to go there anymore. So
that really is how it's like. You have to have things that can operate all over the board. You don't really have another option there.
Nathan, to get your list reviewed, put it in the Discord and fix my list, and be super nice to Jack and say something good about Blood Angels.
Yes, flattery will take you far, honestly. If you say the right things, if you pray with the correct, incantations to the Omnissiah, that gets noticed.
Yeah. So for this list, I would like to have a little bit of splitting. I'd like to have 2 individual spawns. It's just, it puts the beats on. Don't get me wrong. I love a ton of everything in this list. The only thing is that you have to make sure that you have ways to score and not just kill. This list murders a lot of things. However, you have to be able to stop your opponent from scoring and to be able to score your own secondaries. Because when I'm looking at playing this, I'm going to kill 2 5-man Rubiks and a unit of Zangors, and then I'm just going to try to stay away from the death the rest of the game. And because there's nothing to block me out, we're playing artifacts, we're playing any of the Dawn of Wars, and I'm just going to be in the corners all over the place, because you really have no way to stop me from doing that. With the Scouring, I'm just going to be behind you, and I'm going to put up huge scores in secondaries, even though you're going to just rickroll a ton of the army. So I think it needs just small. I really like this list, but I think it needs just a little bit of trash to keep. It does.
Yeah, I would love to say, honestly, the only change I would suggest is, split up the 10-man rubrics, turn 20 Zangors into 5 more rubrics with a Soul Reaper and a spell, and then Icon of Flame to everybody.
But those get 2 spawn.
Or 2 spawn.
No, you can do that because we're gaining 35 points by taking the Zangors.
How many points is an Icon?
I'd have to look on that. I think it's 5.
If it's 5, I just want to see, boom, icons on everybody. If it's 10, you take 3.
Yeah. We got Kyle coming in with a super chat. Speaking of Chaos, thoughts on Marines and Chaos Space Marines with the update? Will they replace cultists? Maybe a large blob around Abaddon? As soon as we get the damn new book, I know it's such a cop-out to say that, but it's hard for me to get super behind making new cast lists when I'm going to get a new book soon. I mean, I thought we already would have it, but yes, to your question.
So you're Chaos, Brad.
Yeah, it's the half-year cast, maybe. But I would like to see CSM, yes. The answer is yes to your question.
Where we're at now, I do think CSM are a lot, like 5 CSM in cover have a 2-up against a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I actually think CSM are like sneaky good because they needed durability. They did not need damage output.
Yeah.
People always play into CSM saying like, this is an old book. It's not that good because I know CSM isn't that good. Therefore, it must mean that they don't hit hard and I can just kind of tank it.
No.
And it's like, no, that was never the problem. CSM might hit harder in combat than any other army, including Blood Angels. Like, they hit hard. That's not the problem. The problem is durability. Well, they got durability. And they have cheap models, too. So, like, I think CSM might actually be pretty good. Now, I'm no Mark, so I don't really know CSM that well, unfortunately. But stay tuned. I'm sure we can get Mark doing a CSM clinic at some point. That'd be very interesting.
Dingo and the Hizzy. But I like the idea of replacing those cultists with actual Marines now. They have durability, so they don't insta-die. They have a lot more durability now with the new rules and the changes to the nerfs to indirect. Nerfs to indirect are a huge deal. That combo together, we talked about it yesterday a bit when it first came out. But man, it's... Oh, thank you so much, Matt. But with that, you're going to see lot more things being viable that weren't viable before, including a lot of the Marine stuff. I mean, it's the combination of both of those things that come together to make it more viable.
So now that I'm thinking about it, actually, yesterday Mark did record a video about where CSM are in the new meta. That would be a good one to watch, Kyle, if you want to get a sense of where you're going to be. It is up on the website or YouTube for members. And if you're not a member, it will eventually get released. All of our hot takes on each individual army post FAQ. They're getting stitched together into a video. It's getting edited, and it'll be uploaded for everybody eventually. But if you are a member, you can view all of them individually now.
Yes. And also, if you go to if you're in the War Room, you go to the last Chaos Clinic with Morsoli and I, we went over some lists, tournament-worthy lists going into.
Yep.
So we really broke down, and they just get better with the updates. What do we got here? Brad's Orcs post change is doable or shelf narrative only now. Orcs are still legit. I'm gonna get with Mark, actually. I'm gonna hopefully do a new Orc clinic coming up in the next week or so with the new buffs, nerfs.
Great. Yeah. Well, Ian, I think that's it for Fix My List this week. Please submit your lists in the Art of War Discord, and we'll review them next week. There is a game today in about 20 minutes. Nick's Eldar is going to go up against the new Tyranids led by John in the War Room. So if you guys are a War Room member, you can check that out. That'll be in about 20 minutes. If you want to see Nick cry, now would be a good time to check in.
Thanks, everybody. We will see you soon.